I'm outside of a Whiskey Pete's casino right now, and I'm gonna check out Bonnie and Clyde car. It's their getaway car.
Young man with us, I think we've got to look for some bodies. He said, we know they were hit, you know, with quite a few bullets from the process out here. And he said, we need some volunteers. Well, to go look for some dead people didn't seem to be too bad an idea. There were about 6 of us in the vanguard going down the hill. And when we reached the old riverbed, which we went down
and then we would go out. LC usually, my youngest brother was the one that would take us out to see where he was at, you know. My mother would cook beans and, you know. When I look at the Bonnie and Clyde exhibit, it makes me sad inside, because if you know the real story, it's not like the media portrays it. Clyde Barrow and Bonnie and Clyde, those guys were misunderstood. Clyde, he only killed and shot people if he was cornered or if his life was endangered. Yeah, he got early on in his, he got put in jail for stealing cars, which is not really a violent offense. But it wasn't until he was placed into East Ham prison, which was one of the worst, if not the worst prison in all of America. And he was raped there, and yeah, he was forced into like really, really bad living conditions. So that's when he changed. He became violent, and he was forced to cut off 2 of his toes just so that he could go to the sick ward, so he can get out of the general population. That's how bad it was. So after he got out of East Ham, I don't know, I think he escaped. He swore that he would go back there and try to liberate the prisoners and just kill the guards, because the guards were very cruel, and yeah, they were just unfair and really cruel. So basically that's what fueled Clyde Barrow, pretty much. And if there's one of the Blanche Barrow was married to Clyde Barrow's husband, older brother, Buck, and she kept a diary, and so they read a lot of her letters from her diary, and that explained a lot of what was happening. And that's where yeah, I mean, you can look it up for yourself and read about it. It's really interesting stuff. So I mean, it's a potential, if somebody were to tell that story the way it is, honestly, it could be one of the greatest movies of all time, because it's tailor-made for the big screen, because you've got layers there. Clyde isn't this cold-blooded murderer that people make him out to be. There's layers there. He was a family guy. That's how they caught him. He loved his family. I mean, how can a family guy be a bad guy? I mean, get real. I mean, he loved his family. They would feed him. They would take care of their wounds. Of course, they wound up going to jail for it afterwards. But I mean, they loved their family, and the family loved them back. And they took care of each other. That's how it should be. So, was Clyde a bad guy? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, he definitely had he wasn't a saint for sure, but, he wasn't as bad as people make him out to be. And then Bonnie, I don't think she did anything. I think she was just kind of along for the ride. She was already married, but she loved Clyde to death. Clyde was a crack shot. He was real smart, whip smart. Drove the fast car, the V8 Ford. He used the Browning automatic rifle and just overpowered people. And yeah, that's how he got things done. But yeah, I mean, there's layers there. I mean, if you wanted to take the time to explain Bonnie and Clyde properly, it makes for a very, very compelling storyline. So, any movie makers out there watching, it's a gold mine. That's it for this vid. See you in the next.